What's up, everybody?
What's happening, folks?
Welcome to the Game Beaters podcast.
Indeed, the bite-sized podcast.
Yep, BS podcast for you. Today, Dick Boots and I, Dan B, we're going to review we're going to react to and then review the Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie trailer.
I'm pretty excited about this. I was a big Genesis guy.
Yeah.
Back in the day. I know a lot of younger folks, they hear that the first Sega they had was the Dreamcast or something, and it's like, well, that wasn't really Sega's heyday at all. It was
right.
I didn't even own a Super Nintendo. I was Genesis all the way. I may have picked one up used back, when right at the end of the Super NES when Donkey Kong Country and all those were kind of coming out for it. But I was a Genesis guy all the way.
Oh yeah, me too.
And so Sonic is a big. He was a big deal in the days of Genesis. It was really pretty. I don't know, groundbreaking is the right word, but it was. Sonic was the first Sonic was definitely a milestone, really, in gaming, I think.
Oh yeah. So do you think that this movie is like a milestone in movie making, or I
don't know about that.
I know you haven't seen the trailer yet.
I haven't seen the trailer yet, but having Jim Carrey in anything where he can be Jim Carrey can only be a good thing.
Right.
Right. And so that's what I'm most excited about. Him being Robotnik is very intriguing. Mm-hmm. And they've gotten the CGI down pretty good as far as characters like Sonic would go. For the CGI part of it. From what I understand, they invented some new technology when they did the Jungle Book live action remake.
Oh yeah.
For some of the animals in that, and I guess they're using a lot of that for the new Lion King that's coming out soon, where they could make that all virtual since there's actually no live. There's no humans in it. There's no live anything, so it could be all virtual.
That's funny, because this has nothing to do with Sonic, but the Lion King live action movie is not live action at all. Right.
It's completely computer generated, entirely.
Yeah, so that kind of blows my mind a little bit. But should we get into this?
Yeah, let's check this thing out.
All right, let's see what this is all about here.
He's going 750.
Yeah.
Oh, they got Marsden in here.
Yeah.
He's good.
Mr. X-Men. Got the rings there.
Gold rings like Sonic, bitches.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy. Who do they have voice acting him?
The dude who plays John Ralphio in
Was that Ben Schwartz?
Yeah, Ben Schwartz.
Okay. Nice.
Here's Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Are you in charge here? Yes, I am. No! What's wrong? I'm in charge. Allow me to clarify. In a sequentially ranked hierarchy based on level of critical importance, the disparity between us is too vast to quantify. Agent Stone? The doctor thinks you're basic. Listen, pal. I don't know if you realize. I'm sorry, Major. What was your name? Benny. Nobody cares. That's not PD. Meow.
At least they didn't get him in the crotch.
Well, he's supposed to be so fast. Wouldn't you be able to dodge something like that?
Yeah, right.
No, but thank you for asking. Whatever this creature is, our job is to secure it, neutralize it, see what makes it tick.
the portal rings. That's pretty cool.
Gangster's Paradise. That's an odd choice.
Yeah, it is an odd choice.
Look at this. I took 9 million steps today.
Oh, yeah. So you should...
It's just like the Quicksilver moment in X-Men or whatever.
Stay in there and be quiet. How much longer? I can't breathe in here.
Do you have your child in that bag?
No. I mean, yes, it's a child, but it's not mine. It's not your child. Not like body spraying an old ham sandwich.
Oh, boy. Yes. Yes. My first impression is it might have a little too much of maybe like a Alvin and the Chipmunks kind of, I don't know, childishness to it, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
A touch, but that thing there at the end of Jim Carrey in full Robotnik mode, that could be worth the price of admission, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, and I see people complaining about it, like there's a hashtag, not my Robotnik, because he's not fat in that. And it's like, well, how do you even know it's like from his head up?
Yeah.
From his, like, it's neck up. Like, I
And
don't
since when is Robotnik like an iconic anything, really? I mean, Sonic's the iconic one. Robotnik was just the foil.
Right.
So,
Right. And I've seen people make the argument that, with Robotnik, like you don't want to be cheering for the villain. Like you don't want to go to a movie because you like the villain. But I'm like, what about Thanos? Like that whole Avengers movie?
That's true.
Was like you're kind of rooting for Thanos almost in a way.
Right. And that's how it was in the comic books. The whole Infinity Gauntlet throughout the whole thing of that was, you were kind of rooting for Thanos.
Yeah.
Because he was just an all-around, he was the baddest badass, really.
Yeah. So sometimes you do go to a movie for a villain, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Sonic should be that movie.
I mean, it's not like there's not Darth Vader fans out there.
Right.
I mean, shit.
Right. I know some people who went to go see that Rogue One just for the Darth Vader scene.
Yeah, where he just lays waste in that corridor at the end.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. That was awesome.
Right.
That was probably one of my favorite Star Wars moments for me. I'm not a huge Star Wars nut.
Right.
But, yeah, that was awesome.
So what do you think? You're going to see this movie?
I am definitely going to see it, just because, I am, Sonic is definitely brings back a lot of memories for me and stuff, and, and I think, like I said, having Jim Carrey being able to be Jim Carrey again in a movie is awesome.
Right.
I mean, his last couple things, I mean, they was good, but they weren't that zany, Jim Carrey that
True. It's like return to form Jim Carrey almost.
Yeah,
it allows him to go back to that. I mean, he did do the Dumb and Dumber or whatever.
He did.
Which was it was all right. I liked it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is his chance to just have a new character where he can be that zany Jim Carrey again.
Indeed. I kind of was hoping that in that trailer, I didn't really see much of it, but I was kind of hoping they'd kind of use some of the original gameplay, like maybe like the levels, because that first level is fairly iconic for Sonic, and just that super colorful like last level type thing. And it didn't seem like any of that was going to be in it, but that didn't mean it's not.
Right.
But it'd be cool if, not even if it's like a dream that Sonic's in or something, or some sort of silly plot device to get, to get him into something like that would be kind of cool.
Well, I think they're going to have some of that, because this is like my 5th time watching the trailer, and if you look at that Robotnik part at the end, the background are giant mushrooms.
Okay, I didn't quite catch that.
Yeah, it's hard to catch on your first time through. But yeah, so that I thought was cool that they got the mushrooms. So they're going to have some kind of Sonic World-like stuff in there, I think. And the opening takes place in Green Hills, which is...
Okay, well...
a nod to it. It doesn't look like...
yeah.
And I've seen people be like... Because there's a part where like Sonic throws a ring and it teleports these guys when they fall through the ring. And they're like, rings never teleported anything. It's like... What about the giant ring at the end when you jump into it?
Right,
you get teleported to another land.
Right.
So, everybody who's like tearing this apart, They just don't really know their Sonic lore, I don't think.
Then I think people just like to tear things apart just for the sport of tearing things apart. I mean,
that's true. It gets you clicks.
Yeah.
So that's why we're tearing this movie apart right now.
Right.
Good Lord, this looks awful. Don't watch this.
God, I can't believe they got some low-rent actor like James Marsden in this damn thing. God.
And that joke about a kid being in the duffel bag, come on, that's not right. Nobody wants that.
That's like right out of Alvin and Chipmunks.
Oh, yeah, it probably is. I've seen a couple people compare this to Alvin and the Chipmunks, being like, well, my kids might like it because they liked Alvin and the Chipmunks. And it's like, well, yeah, your kids are going to like it. I don't know. I've seen people argue on the internet. There's so much, like, stuff about this today on the internet. And it's like, there's people who are like, oh, kids don't even know what Sonic is, so they're not going to like this movie. But I think they're wrong. I think kids do know what Sonic is. I know I have a little 6-year-old friend who really likes Sonic and likes Sonic Boom and understands what it is. Without coaching from me at all. It's like I got this Dr. Robotnik like toy, and she knew what it was right away. She's like, "Oh, Eggman,"
Huh.
So,
my son, he's he'll be 13 this year, and he knows Sonic, but
I know he thinks it's for babies though, right?
Yeah, he hasn't really played the games or anything like that, and
which is interesting that he thinks it's for babies. So that means there must be a younger generation that likes Sonic before him.
But then he also puts Mario in the same. He puts Mario in the same bracket.
Oh, well, babies.
Sonic. Yeah, that they're just, I don't know.
Interesting.
But he's not so much a fan of those type of adventure games where there's like the platformers type things.
Yeah. And that's basically what Sonic is. So
MLB, the show, has been basically running his life. the last couple years of that's been about all he'll play.
Yeah, I think a lot of teenage folks fall into that category. Sure. I know I did as a teenager too. I love sports games then.
Sure. But if anything, I like that it's different. And nowadays, with new movies, all the themes have been used. All the, we're in the age of all remakes and prequels of shit and everything else. And so something like this is kind of a, breath of fresh air almost. It's different.
Sure.
If it's good or bad, it's different. And that can't hurt the whole movie scene.
Sure. Now, I have a question for you. Have you seen Detective Pikachu, the trailer for that?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
But this would be, I was about to bring up, some other movies kind of like this, and I was thinking the Pikachu one is kind of in there. And
what about the Mario movie? How does this compare to the Mario movie?
See, I don't know if this compares to the Mario movie, just because the Mario movie was. I don't know. It was.
Well, people have strong opinions on that one as well.
I think it compares better to like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Things like that. Even maybe a Cool World or The Cool World.
Right, where you're fusing live action with animation.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some other video game movies.
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, Resident Evil. Those were pretty good.
Resident Evils were all right. Yeah.
I liked the first Silent Hill movie, just because, just like the game, you had no fucking clue what was going on.
Yeah, it looked well.
And
it looked good.
It got the music right. It almost gave me chills the first time in the movie. Someone would go search a hospital or a school or a hotels, usually the three main ones in Silent Hill. But when you walk into a room, that door creak with the kind of ominous music, they nailed that.
Sure.
That first Silent Hill movie.
Sure.
And it's a little thing, but it's the little things that.
I thought that the nurses looked good too.
Yes.
Like
the weird movements and stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Final Fantasy movies, those were good. Those weren't live action though. I don't think.
No, those were CGI. All entire. That would be interesting, a live action Final Fantasy. I don't know if I'd want to see that.
Like a live action Final Fantasy VII or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They made a Final Fantasy VII movie. I've never actually seen it, but they made a CGI movie. But anyway, back to Sonic. I guess any closing thoughts on this?
I'm gonna give it a chance.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna go see it. Like I said, I'm of the age of, the Genesis was the end all be all for me back in those days.
So is this aimed at you, or is this aimed at kids, do you think? Or?
I think it's aimed at both. I think it's aimed at 40-somethings that have kids.
Yeah, probably.
That's what I think it is.
Probably.
So I'm probably right in the demographic,
Yeah. Well, my kids are not.
It would like I could see me trying to sell my son on watching this. It's like that'd be a tough sell. It'd be a real tough sell.
Yeah, but like I could sell, like I said, my 6-year-old on that. So I'm sure she'd go to this with me.
Sure. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a chance. I've noticed that most of the people who are naysaying on it are the younger folks, the 20-somethings and whatever,
or the YouTubers for clicks.
Yeah, and you would have had to have been around in the era of the original Sonic to really get an idea of just how game changing it was or whatever.
Yeah,
game was.
And one other thing I want to bring up before, as a final thought, is like I don't mind the way he looks. A lot of people are turned off by it.
I don't either. I was expecting a more, I don't know, like a more comical version. I was expecting like a
more cartoony.
Yeah, more cartoony.
Like with a lot of people are like upset because he has 2 eyes instead of like one giant eyeball that Sonic has.
Boy, come on.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, man, we've seen so many iterations of Sonic over the years. Just, it's okay. It's okay to change a little bit here and there.
They have the eye like that, and you see it on his shirt.
You can see it.
They have the eye like that because the angle at which you're seeing him almost all the time is like this. You never see a straight head-on shot of Sonic, really.
Right.
And so if you're doing a movie, it's not like you're going to be looking at him at the same angle as you would in every print media, whatever,
right,
or anything like that.
It'd be a little limiting on their part.
So I mean, it is going to be a little different. So
yeah, and we've seen Sonic go through. We've seen him become a werewolf and like all sorts of stuff. So it's fine. It's fine. Just relax. It's okay. It's a movie.
Right.
Enjoy it if you can.
It's yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I guess that's all there is to say.
I think that's all.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for another podcast.
Gotta go fast.
Yeah. And gotta go fast and click that like button and all that stuff. And
some chili dogs.
Subscribe to the channel and
indeed
all that.
We
funky
appreciate
stuff.
your support. And
yeah. So we'll see you soon.
Bean Boots are out.
Later.